That's what we like to do. We like to have fun. We like to teach, and we like to exercise. So it all works together.
Yeah.
That's good. Hey, welcome everybody. This is Cam again with another episode of the Quarantine Leadership Series. I'm here with two friends I met a year ago or more, David Zidd, Jackie Russell. I met them at a meeting a year ago and just was really impressed with the work that they were doing and around Parkinson's disease. I'm confident that this is an area that's interest to a lot more YMCAs. I know there's some Ys that are doing the work that y'all do too. And so we want to share, but thanks for joining us today. David Zidd and Jackie Russell. That actually sounds like a movie producer group or something that would flash up at the end of the movie, Zidd and Russell production.
We've always thought it was like a Mutt and Jeff or Dog and Pony show.
Howdy Doody. It's more like Howdy Doody.
No.
Here, come sit on my lap, Jackie, and I can make her talk.
Jackie, you go first, and David, y'all give us a quick description of your background.
Well, thanks, Kim. We appreciate
You're the
being
smarter
here.
one, Jackie.
Yeah, let me
ahead.
go first. Yeah, I'm a nurse by profession, and 20 years ago, I was introduced to Parkinson's when my mother-in-law was diagnosed. And then I started working for an orthopedic surgeon that was diagnosed with Parkinson's, who was powerful in our community, Columbus, Ohio. And he declined quickly and retired. And then he, 2 years later, called me and asked if I would help him with a project. And I got to peek at him, and he was dramatically different. His symptoms had nearly reversed. And I asked him what he was doing. He said, "That's what I want to talk to you about. I'd like to introduce you to this guy, tall guy with a big smile that can..."
It was kind of like this. Hi, Jackie. Nice to meet you.
He's got the charisma of the whole wide world. And I'd like you to partner with him because he's really bright with his ideas on changing Parkinson's disease, but he's not that organized and he needs a little bit of help with writing.
It's kind of like a motorboat going through the water and leaving a wake.
So I was introduced to this guy that stood a foot taller than me, and he smiled and said, "These things I'm doing with people with Parkinson's works." And that's how it started. And I joined forces with David to help him write a book, really, to help him write the program down that he was using on a handful of clients and this surgeon that I worked for. And we had one class dropped into our laps in 2005. And that's how it started. We grew it from there. And I watched with my eyeballs because I was very skeptical that this actually changed Parkinson's.
You skeptical?
Of you, still to this
Imagine
day.
that.
And honestly, Kim, what I saw with my eyes, was better than research. And then I did a lit search, and it was written down that rigorous, regular exercise was dramatically impacting the symptoms of Parkinson's disease.
But Jackie, that was we were doing things way before research was proving what we were seeing with our eyes was actually working. I've been a trainer since 1997, a personal trainer. I developed an interest in older adults. Okay, well, if you look back, you go, okay, you have an interest in older adults, you're going to see Parkinson's at some point. And I did. I started seeing Parkinson's in some of my clients. And then my sister's father-in-law gets it, the surgeon that Jackie worked for, and I helped him. And he changed so much. He goes, you need to write a book. I'm like, sure, write a book. Yeah, no problem. He goes, no, you're going to write a book, and I'm going to introduce you to someone who can help you organize that. And so that's really how Jackie and I met. We did have a small class dropped in our lap. It was about 4 or 5 people. We were in a church basement. And
we added him, and it was a party, and it was a starting of a party that has gone on for 18 years now.
It's been a great party. And the thing is, what we saw though were people needed some place to go, and there was a common bond between them. And I think I kind of just viewed myself as the circus leader. I mean, I'm just kind of the guy that just is the ringleader. I'm there organizing some things and throwing stuff out. But it was really the cohesion of this group was really because they have something in common. They have this disease that they're really worried about, they're anxious about, they're probably depressed about. But when we got them together and exercised, it was magic, and the interviews that we've had since then, from those folks, and a lot of those folks are still with us, was like, it was this magic period of time where we would go in and we had this guy throwing stuff at us and we didn't feel good walking in, but we felt good walking out, you know?
People would say, this was hopeless when I was diagnosed. It was the worst day of my life. And these were powerful people of all walks of life.
Yeah,
it doesn't
everywhere.
discriminate.
Yeah.
And they felt hopeless, not only from what their physician and their neurologist said, but in their daily lives. And so you bring all these people that really lack hope and bad attitude in a room, and they start laughing and they get better.
Yeah.
So the camaraderie of the group was really half or more of the magic that changed them.
It was a really special time for us too. I mean, this class grew from 4 or 5 people, and I think 18 months later we had 60. I mean, 60. Literally 60 people with Parkinson's would come see us every Friday, and people in wheelchairs to people that could jump over those wheelchairs. And we had all kinds of people from everywhere and all different levels too. And I remember there was a day where you weren't there because you were probably out vacationing or something.
Filing my nails.
Yeah, maybe on your yacht or something.
Probably. Yeah, that's
true. All of a sudden I'm alone. I've got 60 people and I'm like, holy crapper, what am I going to do today? So I had everyone get on the floor, and I just remember going, okay, I don't have to worry about anyone falling today because we're on the floor. But it was 60 people because we had 60 med balls, 60 folding chairs, 60 mats, and they were all used. And so we knew we had something. We knew we had like the it, formula. And, Jackie is very organized, guys. Right?
You're so lucky.
And thank God for that, because, I'm the idea man. I train lots and lots of people. That's my passion. I love working with people and exercising them. So I come up with ideas, but then Jackie goes, okay, hold on, Zitty. How do we fit this into our program? And I say, Jackie, that's what you're here for. So, this has been a great team between us, and I mean, this is what we love to do.
Well, we started being invited to present at big symposiums, and frequently would talk right after the neurologist, and that's a pretty sciencey talk. And then you put Jeff up there, and we would tell people about what we were seeing, and then get 700 people up and have them smiling and getting out of a chair independently in a matter of minutes. And it was invigorating for them and hopeful. And that's what got us started talking. And that's what the surgeon that got us started said, talk in front of everyone that you can. And we did.
And it's just a lot of fun. I mean, when you can get energy level up with 700 people or whatever it is, and they're up and they're excited and they're all smiling, see, and then they leave with a bit of hope and, even a few little exercises that we taught them that day. That to me is successful and fun.
So we had to figure out a way to start classes in different places rather than Columbus, Ohio. And so everywhere we spoke, they said, well, we want this class. So we designed a continuing education course with the help of a physical therapist and started training people from different states and within the state of Ohio. And that's when we started getting programs everywhere.
Sure. Yeah. And, we've trained probably 6,000 professionals, and we have classes in, I don't know, at least before pre-COVID, we had classes in
30 states in Canada.
States. But the nice thing about this, and the reason we're different than every other program, is that, we have more experience working with Parkinson's patients than anybody else, arguably in the world. And then when we start a program up, so when we train an instructor, we actually help them do that. And we want our programs to be successful. So we don't want a 1-year program to start in, Duluth, Minnesota, right? We don't want 1 year of delay the disease and then it's gone. So we like our programs to last, and they do. They tend to last. The majority of our programs, when they start, they're still going on.
And we teach people how to manage folks of all different levels of activity, because you could have 3 people that are chair bound in your class and then 2 people that can jump over a chair in your class. And if you can manage that group and make them cohesive, you can do anything. In Columbus, we split our classes into levels of activity. So you had chair class, an intermediate class, a boot camp class, all kinds of.
But that's because we're here.
We have so many people.
And we're able to do that. See, we've got lots of help and we have lots of great instructors here. But, if I'm an instructor out in the middle of basically nowhere,
North Dakota,
which is rural, then you go, okay, so how do you treat a room full of people, 10 people
Yeah.
that are all different levels, and you can't split them into different levels. So,
Mhm.
you know, we love working with those folks because, I mean, they're the, I shouldn't say this, but, you know, those people tend to be our best instructors because they have the most skills. You know, they have a huge skill set, and it's fun to see them mature
Oh,
and
yeah.
become better at what they do. And
then we hear from them.
we do hear from them
And
a
they
lot.
say, oh
Yeah,
my gosh,
yeah.
here's a videotape of someone
It's a lot
that
of fun.
couldn't get to the floor, and now they're on the floor and up without any help. And it's,
Yeah.
man, it's the best part of our day.
Well, the thing is, you know, we are busy. I mean, well, I am. I don't know what Jackie's doing in her spare time, but, you know, maybe, you know, doing her nails, right?
Doing my nails.
Yeah. But, you know, we're really busy, but we still take time to hear from our instructors and folks from all over the country.
Yeah.
And I think that's important to still have time to do that and say, yes, we do have time for a phone
How can
call.
we help you? And
Yeah.
really, that's up to COVID. That's us in a nutshell. And we are.
That didn't really take too long, did it?
Well, one other point, you know, we joined a big healthcare institution in 2013. They wanted a prepackaged wellness program for Parkinson's. They were building a movement disorder center. So we're part of a very large healthcare system that lends a lot of credibility to our program and helps us with research. So
and then the way that we've been able to connect our docs, our movement disorder doctors, along with the physical therapists, speech therapists, occupational therapists, see, and this becomes a nice community. And so when a Parkinson's patient comes into our health system, oh, okay, they have a movement disorder doctor, but they also are connected to Delay the Disease. And then we hook them up with
neuro rehab and
whatever they
everything.
need. So
their whole team is right
it's
there.
a really nice thing. And you know, someone get kicked out of speech therapy because their insurance goes, you know, is up. They come right back into us. See, so Delay the Disease is that niche of, okay, I need physical therapy. Okay, well, go see your physical therapist for this much of the year.
Yeah.
And then come see us for the rest of the year.
Then come back
right?
to us.
So tell me, what's the premise of the research behind the success of the Parkinson's program you run?
So the research has to do with neuroplasticity and the fact that you can change the brain to rewire and relearn a task that it's lost because of Parkinson's or the aging brain or Alzheimer's. But neuroplasticity is the basis of our class. And what we found in our program that supported the research was when we got people's heart rates up and they became aerobic, they relearned that activity much more efficiently. And so now the research is showing, gosh, if you get people's heart rates up, their neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to adapt, is enhanced. So we run every program the same way. We get people's heart rates up. We do cardio, we do brain work or Parkinson's specific work, something that they have lost from Parkinson's. And then we do strengthening, and that just works for every single class.
You know, it does, Cam, it comes down to, you know, we just see so many people, we train so many Parkinson's patients that all of a sudden you start seeing trends and you say, okay, when we do the A, B, and C, then we get the result that we want, you know, and you start seeing trends, and it happens very quickly for us. It doesn't take years for us to learn something. It takes weeks, maybe. You know, I used to take, and I still do, I try something out on one person, and if it works, then I try it on another person, and I try it on another person. And then pretty soon we go, okay, well, let's see if we can teach this in a group setting. And if it works in a group setting, then we take it to our course and we put it in a book and on DVD.
And then we find a paper about it about 2 years later. But, you know,
5 years later,
the hottest topic in research right now is, does regular aerobic exercise increase dopamine in the brain? You know, Parkinson's disease is a dopamine depleting disease, this great chemical in your brain that allows you to move well. A new article came out less than 6 months ago that said, yeah, actually it does. Not only does exercise increase the chemicals in your brain that allow you to rewire, but it also increases dopamine, which was a hot topic. We've seen that for so many years.
What about?
But don't you think, Jackie, in between the years of 2010 through 2012, we did a study with the Ohio State University before we went into the hospital system we were in with now. But we did a year-long study, And, I think that was a good learning time for us to say, okay, these are the things that start lining up. Because we had 5 to 6 years of experience before that. And then with that, in a very organized fashion, we did a year-long study. And I think at the end of that study, I go, wow, we have a systemness of training people now, and it really became the basis of how we do things.
You had a question.
Yeah.
You're talking about neuroplasticity and dopamine. Any correlation between this research and the effect on dementia patients or people with dementia?
Go get them.
You should ask.
Go get them, Tiger.
So about 4 years before COVID started, we wanted that. We wanted to see if that was effective. I hadn't even read the research back then, but the Alzheimer's Association wanted us to start a program. And our neurocognitive neurologist said, would you start a program for my folks? Because I think it works for our folks. So we did. And we got people that had mild cognitive impairment and the beginning stages of Alzheimer's disease. And I exercised them in a group for about 4 years. So I saw what was happening with them. Research is now tremendously supportive of the exact same thing. Yes, you could slow the progression of mild cognitive impairment, which is kind of the precursor to Alzheimer's. You could slow that down so they may never tip over to Alzheimer's with the right kind of rigorous exercise. And so I've figured out the formula. David's helped me, and we now have a class specifically for those folks. But honestly, people with just aging brains who are losing short-term memory are benefiting from it as well.
I think there's a lot of promise for exercising vigorously, doing some multitasking drills, helping with some form of dementia, whether it's a mild form or a more serious form like Alzheimer's. What we've seen in class is that people come in, they're not able to remember much, and then by the end of class they're remembering again. So short term usually leads to long-term goals. That's what we've seen in Parkinson's.
We've done our own studies on our Parkinson's patients, and we've seen dramatic, clinically significant changes in not only their Parkinson's symptoms, but their depression and their attitude and their quality of life. But I'm yet to do a study here on our Alzheimer's folks, but that's my next step.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
What people tell me
in our spare time. Get on that, Jackie.
What people tell me, though, spouses tell me on the day of the class, they say the rest of that day, their spouse is much more conversant. They're able to find their words better because word finding is a terrible problem with them. And their memory seems better. So what we see in just 1 hour of work seems to last at least that day. And the research supports that it lasts even longer. So that's where we are with that. That's very exciting.
Well, and if you talk about brain health, you talk about your heart health, because direct link, 20% of your blood flow goes to your brain, north to the brain. So when you work your heart, you're definitely getting brain benefit. So
my wife disagrees, says 20% does not go to my brain.
Well, Cam, you need to spend some time with us then. Come to Columbus.
Cam, we'll be right over.
Bring a mask.
So tell me, I would imagine your population skews older. And how have you ran classes during COVID? And I know the answer is somewhat on technology and doing virtual things. And how have you been able to get them to adapt to more virtual classes? How's that gone?
So thanks for the question. Obviously there it is, totalhealthworks.com. Go visit us and you can see what we're doing online right now. And that's Jackie and me and a PT from Kentucky. So, that's how we've been able to start. We started this 2 weeks into COVID, but we are still seeing people one-on-one. I think our folks tend to be more, obviously it's an older group, so they're more reserved. So, but they feel so much safer being in a one-on-one setting. Now, the things that we did in our gym was, yes, we're sanitizing everything, but I put UVC light in the air ducts. So we are cleaning the air every 10 minutes in here. See, and that's, I think, important because sharing air with someone right now is probably pretty risky. But the online thing, Jackie.
The virtual platform, we started like day 2 of COVID because we said our folks need something.
Yeah.
So we just started a whole new business because it was mandatory.
Well, and our partner, Bennett, who's a physical therapist, became an IT guy. Because
yes, he did.
Your question about how did you get our folks into this technical world was that there were a lot of phone calls and a lot of questions
Oh,
about how to get on
tremendous.
Zoom, how to turn the computer on. I mean,
Mhm.
seriously, it was, there's some folks just have never, I mean, I've got people who don't even have emails still,
Right.
so, I mean, they're not using computers, let alone Zooming. That's pretty scary stuff. And a camera, to have a camera on your computer, that's like new stuff too. So, we spent a lot of time figuring that out and helping people, literally get on the phone and say, okay, Jim, this is what you need to do. You need to turn that button on that's in the middle of your computer. And we walked steps to that. And then, one of our Parkinson's patients is an IT expert, and he offered his time and services to help us too.
But, we realized that this is a whole new world for group fitness. And there are some people that are going to be very weary about coming into a group for the rest of their lives. So we wanted to design a very professional, great virtual platform, easy to use. So we just started the wheels turning. We painted everything. We added lighting from a video studio local, and I think it looks great.
We cleaned up all the dead fish and the dumps and the garbage
out
of here.
Out of
all
the
that
gym.
out of here.
You're welcome.
And now we're all clean and ready to go.
Your videos look great.
You know what? It is working. It's a slow growth. You're right about that. But you know what? Yesterday we taught class. We had 65 people on, and that was our brain and body class. So that was our cognitive class. But honestly, on that class, we have people with Parkinson's, people with mild cognitive impairment, Alzheimer's.
We have people that don't even really have anything, wrong with them, so to speak, but they just want to exercise with us. And we're trying to create a community where we're having people talk with each other. And then, the good thing about Zoom is that we can two-way communicate.
Yeah.
We talk to them, they talk to us.
So I'm trying to get my Y to grow our personal training repertoire, menu, whatever you want to call it. Would you consider seniors a good market to sell that product to? And do seniors prefer it individually, or is there more success in small group personal training with seniors?
I tell you that,
great question.
I think it is a good group of people. You just have to be ready to help them understand how to get on and how to, log in.
For the groupness of it.
And just the technical part of that is the toughest part for them. I think once people experience us, I think we've only had one person not sign up for our Total HealthWorks. And we don't really know why, but that was only one person out of hundreds of people, so if you can help them with technology, I think you're going to have a much more successful program. Now, one-on-one training, I think people are more, our folks are more apt to train in person one-on-one than in a group setting.
Yeah.
But online, I don't think it matters too much. We are doing a lot of one-on-one online virtual training too, but the vast majority of our folks are in group class.
I think seniors, they like one-on-one once they taste it. Some of them don't want to be around a group of people, and some of them thrive on it. So, I think it's the individual.
Well, and it's expensive. You do a one-on-one training, it costs a lot more money.
Yeah, it does.
Then,
But I think there's power in group personal training. And I think that's a trend. But I think the magic of the YMCA is a group anyway. People coming together in a group, encouraging each other and being a part of the team, from youth basketball and soccer to Live Strong to a Parkinson's program, delayed disease. I think the group dynamic is really the genius behind a lot of success.
Well, and the Y instructors that we know and that we've instructed, they are wonderful people, and they're always like gung-ho, positive, really good backgrounds on them too. They have great experience. They are great instructors for us.
The beauty of the
Y I agree with you.
You welcome everybody. You're affordable, and your instructors are hands down energetic, knowledgeable, and optimistic.
It's a perfect fit for us because that's
exactly
that's our standard operating procedure here.
So, David, Jackie, next time we talk, we'll try to do this again soon. Make sure, maybe get some coffee in your system. You need a little caffeine for a little bit. You guys,
we're pretty calm today. You're right.
Cam, Jackie doesn't allow me to drink coffee.
You don't want to see this guy on coffee.
I'm not allowed to.
It's like the Tasmanian devil. Okay.
Yeah, this is why I think connected when we met a year or so ago, but I appreciate you so much. Everybody watching, I think David said the website there, Total HealthWorks. I know you can get on the Google machine and look up delay the disease, and there's a lot of information, and you can contact me.
Yeah.
I can connect you with them, but I hope as soon as this world lightens up a little bit, we're going to get you down to at least North Carolina to be with our CEOs and share the work you're doing, because it's impressive and it's affected my family. And so I'm personally happy about it, but I just appreciate the work and the blessing y'all been to so many people. So
you're
y'all have
so
a great
awesome.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Cam. So great to see you.